Hello, everyone, and welcome to Remember the Cant, where we're discussing the episodes of The Expanse. This is a podcast where we analyze all the episodes, we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. So, I'm Parvati. With me are my co hosts Bala and Sumit. Say hello, guys.
Hi
Hi.
everyone.
Today's episode is CQB, right? What did you think about it, Bala?
CQB, close quarter battle. Once I knew the expansion, I got what I was looking for. Close quarter battle, lots of it. Bloodshed, vacuum.
Pretty self-explanatory
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
title.
yes, loved it. I loved the episode because this was focused on a lot of action and to move the story forward. We understand the intricacies. Christian, apart from her peacock pose, she was tolerable. Her
Because
peacock
she
Too
did,
command
much
screen
screen.
time, yes, they knew.
yeah.
I froze that scene where they show this fellow's ID, the dead guy's ID. I stopped it and I looked at a lot of details in that. There's a lot of detail. There's like place of issue, place of birth. It's like a passport
Yeah.
with all of the details, which level he was, what access he has. I didn't see birthmark, and it was in three languages. I
Mm.
think the second one is Latin. I'm not sure. First one has Chinese characters. The second one looks like Latin. The third one is, of course, English. So they had all of that. It is pretty cool. The level of detail in this series is just fascinating.
That busy Betico guy.
Yeah, Busy Betico. Yes. Or
Who wasn't dead,
Betico.
and then he was dead
That
all
he
along
Yeah.
was
together.
Well, the guy who died already was not Busy Betico, right?
Yeah,
That's what we
correct.
realized at the end
yeah.
of it.
Yes,
That
correct.
Busy Betico is another guy who's and that part was good. And he died.
Yeah,
Now he
and
dead.
he did. Now
Now
he
he
did.
did. I like this. It's pretty straightforward, full
Yeah,
action. Because of last few episodes, I wanted more intricacies and world building, but
yeah,
as the show goes forward, then we'll get that eventually.
yeah.
But I liked the straightforward battle of
Yeah.
the actual thing that's happening, war in the stars.
Yeah. It has also got a bit of violence in it because you see Miller chopping up I mean, at least he's, putting, piercing into that
That
body. And
guy.
then, oh my God, the decapitation. That was, that was horrible.
Hey, at least Miller had a sense of humor. He said, "Hey, it's a dead guy. I'm not hurting him."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not hurting him. And it didn't
And
bleed, but the other was, yeah.
I had to name the guy Shed, like it's rhymes like Shed is without head and now he's dead. Like
Yeah,
I was
it
thinking
writes
of
in
all the
poetry.
puns in the world. I couldn't predict this one. He just made it
I
a
guess,
poem.
Yeah, he
yeah.
did.
Morbid, dreary poem, but a poem all the same.
And
That
he
was
was
one
not a
horrible
med.
thing. Yeah, he was not a fan. Yes,
Add
plenty
to
of opportunities
Plenty of opportunities. Yeah.
for a long
I
poem.
was thinking of Austin Powers, wrong time to lose one's head. And he will
Literally,
never be a head in the corporation.
Uh,
that scene was particularly eerie when the gravity came back and
Such a good scene. He's throwing that
yeah,
cinnamon stick.
Yeah, my God,
yeah,
the splash, it was really amazing.
uh,
and
Uh,
gruesome.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It was complete.
Yeah, when you said that when the gravity came on and
Yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah,
splashes down. Yeah.
yeah.
I was
Mm.
thinking
Until then,
about when actually you realize something
yeah.
is
Oh
going.
my
He
God.
throws a stick and then it
Yep.
recoils back.
Yeah.
And he just stops talking mid-sentence, right, in that scene. So then you're
Yeah.
wondering what happened, and then when the camera goes back to him, you find
Oh,
there's no head.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. First it starts with that pill or whatever floating in
Yep.
space, and then he loses focus and he's looking at something or somebody, and then you
Yeah.
realize there's something wrong, and then they show the others for the reaction shots, and then finally you see this is gone.
At the moment when Shed is finally doing his job as a medic
Correct. Yes.
to
He did
calm
something
Alex,
good.
where Alex is panicking, he's giving him a medicine.
Yeah. The one time he's really
You
doing
are
himself.
fulfilled now. Your purpose is
Yeah.
fulfilled.
At least he went out with a bang, decapitation, whatever.
Does he stop midway with wife here when I'm here kind of a thing? He says something and is gone midway, right?
He's
Yeah,
gone
something like
midway.
that.
Something like that he goes on.
Yeah.
He
I'm
was actually,
always
yeah,
skeptical when in subtitles they end with an ellipsis, right? Like
yeah. Then you know
if
something has
there's a
happened.
dot, something has happened.
Something horrible has happened.
Yeah. Uh,
I actually thought that maybe, okay, he fell off his chair or something, but then when we actually saw
yeah.
what happened, it was a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it had
But
a lot of feels, I feel like, this
yeah,
episode.
that scene was just awesome in many ways. That Naomi was the first one to react, saying we have to plug those holes, right? So there's
Correct.
a man
Yeah.
who's lost his head, and that's the first thing she thinks of is, okay, that guy is dead. We can't do much about him, but we need to plug the holes. And then she does it. Once they're safe, then she's like
Then she
totally sad and
yeah.
Yeah,
it's
she
unbelievable
starts crying.
how emotion hits her again. It starts crying. That was
Yeah,
too good. Very well done.
Well, that at that point I think a training takes over
yeah,
when something awful happens, and when that subsides, then when that situation is calmed, her actual emotions took control of her.
Yeah, I
right.
didn't even.
And
I didn't even say goodbye. She says, "Is that for Holden
yeah,
or is that for Shed?" Because Holden also looks like he's gone.
Yeah, I think for Holden,
I wasn't
I
quite
didn't
sure
it
at
wasn't
that point.
very, or is it
because
just a
they
general statement?
when Amos also asked her, right, to whom,
Yeah, correct.
and
And she
it's
said
not
it doesn't
specified.
matter. Yeah, and she just
Yeah.
said it doesn't matter now. I thought it could
Or
be a
maybe
sort of general
some
statement.
people, because she is going to die, like
Yeah,
in
Oh,
she has some people outside also who she didn't get to say goodbye, who we'll
yeah,
right.
see
that's also
much later
later,
down the line.
much
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And she also hints at that, right? She said, I could have been better. You're a good
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
Amos says, I could have been better. She simply
mm,
says.
Yeah.
So we know there's a lot of backstory to that. Of course, we
Yeah.
correct.
realize much later.
Yeah, now I realized who she was thinking about probably,
Hmm.
Mm,
because
okay,
probably not Holden or Shed. Like,
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay. Now I get it. Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
Holden. Oh, he's going to take care of himself. That's it, and he's not going to come back
But
for
he
us.
does come back. At least one
Yeah, that's
honorable thing he
surprising.
does.
Yeah, guilt
yeah.
suddenly takes over.
It
Yeah.
does. I also like that, that part where the Martians were actually so confident that they could take down these enemies. And then
Yeah,
once they started firing, you could just
the
see
Mm.
that,
panic on the face.
yeah. And they were smiling in the beginning because, yeah, we can do this. They were just so
Yeah,
happy about it. But then, yeah, the
That
panic
that
when
rem
it started showing.
that
Yeah,
actually reminded me of Dune Part One, where there's the crawlers, the mining thing, the big
yeah,
trawler they have, and the sandworm is back in the back somewhere. It's going to come in a few seconds, and those people are like, "Oh, there's a sandworm coming, and maybe you want to stop your blah." Okay, I would call the transporter. They're all calm and measured till
yeah,
yeah,
that thing is like gone and it can't attach itself. That's when panic hits. And same way, I thought
yeah,
Martian, they're all trained for everything possible. So, oh, couple of bogies, no problem. We have a simulator for that. We have code 357. Please press the
yeah, yeah.
key, please. All that comes. And then they realize, oh boy, they have a much better technology than probably matching ours. And now they know they've met their adversaries.
Once
and
their PDCs failed, I
Hmm.
think that's when
yeah,
they
they
puckered up.
started. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. They did. And I did not expect the captain to take the decision that she did
Yes.
ultimately
Yeah,
towards the end.
Yes.
That was pretty
Yes.
shocking, which just shows how they were outnumbered, how much the technology actually brought them down, and
Hmm.
how frightened they got towards the end. So then you are
yeah.
also left wondering who has so much power that they can bring down a battleship like that.
Yeah, it's a giant battleship, and these are what, five or six ships, tiny ones. That too, yes, with
Yeah,
stealth armed to the teeth, yes, with superior armor. but still they got unbelievable, advantage over them because they're so
Yes.
small and tiny. They could board wherever they wanted to. Probably this is all
Mm,
planned very well in advance. That's what you
Yeah.
see because they
yeah.
took down such a well organized, well oiled war machine. So seemingly so easily.
It didn't take much time, I think,
Mhm.
to bring down the
No.
Donager and to
Yeah.
board the ship. It all happened in a flash, and I guess Holden and the crew barely had time to escape.
Yeah.
Just,
So
just
regarding that too, I like Captain Yao's Yao, right? Her name.
Yeah. Captain
yeah,
Yao.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Like her, everything was thrown at her, but her
yeah,
decision making was ultimately kind of for the better.
yeah,
Hmm.
To get a Holden out and to then destroy the like self-destruct the ship.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good, given everything, it's a good series of decisions she makes.
And
Yeah.
that's the only time she showed some emotion, right? Towards the end, just
Yeah,
before the ship detonated. She said, I never thought we could lose.
Hmm.
yeah,
Correct. Yeah, it clearly tells you that Martians are so disciplined and they have their technology. They're proud of their technology, their training, all that happened. So they knew that there was only one possibility and they could easily get them.
yeah,
And the fact that these guys have never seen warlike situations ever tells you that
Mm,
they're all insulated and they're probably well protected with a defensive shield, all that. They've never seen combat in their lives, real combat.
yeah. And this is also combat that's a little unpredictable because the technology was unpredictable, the attack was
Right.
unpredictable. I don't
Yes.
think they deal very well with creativity, the Martians. They're just so used to following rules and regulations. So
yeah.
anybody does something out of the box, they're not able to deal with it properly.
Hmm.
Because for them, I think if they don't follow rules, then
Yeah,
in their enclosed domes, then
yeah,
it's death, pure death.
yeah,
That's
correct.
why that guy Lopez is angry at Earth.
Yeah,
What do they call it? Earth people or Earth
Uthers?
Earthlings? Earth,
Earthers, I think,
Earther,
right?
Earther, yeah.
Yeah,
Earther, yes.
yeah. You have
Because
everything and you throw it away.
yeah, I don't know, political ideology wise, I don't know where it's a
Hmm.
capitalist's
Yeah.
rant against socialism of Europe or some some version of that, yeah.
But then they're also going through some pretty heavy terraformation, right? So they are changing
Yeah,
their planet to look good.
Hmm.
And so they
Hmm.
need that kind of discipline. There's no time to waste when it comes to,
yeah,
anything. They just don't have time. And then, yeah, the Earth
Yeah.
has all the resources and hopeless.
To quote Colonel Jessup from Few Good Men, we
Yeah.
follow orders or people die. That's my worst
yeah.
imitation of Jack Nicholson. Yeah,
That is how
that's
they've been
Martians
brought
for
up.
you.
Yeah,
They just
yeah,
have everything thought out, or there must be manuals for all of these kind of situations. So they must have everything programmed. They must have simulation for all of this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
and though they're also being sold a dream, right? Where like if you do all
Hmm.
of these, eventually you'll get this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's this something like this happens.
And
It's a
I think
hindrance, a huge hindrance.
they are also that dream of theirs is to be better than Earth in every way. So they want
Yeah,
to turn the planet into probably the jewel of the solar system. They're going to show everyone how people should live properly,
Hmm.
prosperously. And
Hmm.
then yeah, and ultimately, but the problem is like I said, right? They just seem so rigid. So then when something out of the box happens, they have to really there's no time for them to calculate and come to the right decision. Although Captain Yao, she did do it, but there are some, I think they're a little too rigid when it comes to things like that. They're very martial.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. But that's a Lopez character sort of sums it up, right? So he
Yeah,
yearns for that open ocean and
he
he
does.
yearns for free air, not inside a dome.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you said, the dream is clearly there. I think in the one of the prior episodes they talked about how they had to sacrifice that dream for now, and not sacrifice, but
yeah,
had to put it off so that they could focus on defending themselves. So they have to, because Earth is at their doorstep looking to take over, I guess, but they had to stand their ground. So they had to divert the resources from that project to this one. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Actually, you know
the,
what he said? There's this Welsh word called hirai or hirai. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It is Hiraeth, which means a longing for something that you may or may not have seen, a sort of nostalgia for something that you haven't encountered. So Lopez, when he was talking about the oceans and the vastness and the air and everything, I thought, yeah, he is, genetically something is there in his body
Yeah.
that is remembering earth, that wants the water and the fresh air and the greenery and the trees, and he's kind of remembering that and
hmm,
uh, longing for it. It was pretty poignant.
hmm.
Yeah.
And we also get an idea of he talking about great uncle. So we get an
Yes.
idea of how long has it been since they've moved. Like few generations have been living
Yeah.
in the new planet, in the new world. That all that are just stories about probably
And he's
nobody
still
travels
missing
to
it.
Earth so often,
Yeah.
unless you're poor Frank de Graaf.
And then you're grounded over there on earth.
We finally get to see what will eventually become the Rocinante.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Introduction of a new character, as I call it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Tachi, huh?
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Tachi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Tachi.
I forgot
And
its old name. But it keeps coming after that. I remember some of their gear still has Tachi written on it. After that,
yeah,
later
yeah.
episodes we'll see. Even after they've been renamed Rocinante. Oh, spoiler alert. Big deal.
It's a pretty huge ship
It
considering that
is.
it after looking at that bay where Tachi was situated, right?
Yeah,
It was docked, to use
yeah, it
that
was
word.
Correct.
docked. Yes.
It was
It's
docked
a
and it's pretty
such a
powerful.
huge
Yeah.
ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty huge, and I really like that scene where Alex has to take control of it, and he's, I don't know if I can, and Holden screams at him, "Get us out of here!"
Yeah.
That was, and
He
he
was, he was
snaps
going
That
to
back to his
explain. Oh,
senses.
yeah.
the last one was a freight ship. It had this
Yeah.
Yeah,
engine. If given a choice and time, he would have started explaining all that.
That had the same energy as Holden kicking the satellite. Of
correct. Yeah,
something doesn't work.
and he's also
Kick.
just out of the sedative, right? He had that
Yeah.
Oh
sedative
yeah.
injected into him, and he's just, groggy, stumbling, and then Holden is
Yeah.
here screaming at him.
Then I realized, okay, I'm going to do it the Martian way. Kick the juice.
Yeah.
He seemed to have taken a double dose also. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But
And then he says, be gentle
yeah.
with me, sweetheart. This is my first time. Ooh, double entendre.
I do.
Uh, Alex always cracks me up. It's really funny. His style of humor.
I
He,
like the I
yeah.
liked where when they were deciding who will go under.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alex's
Oh,
defense
that
was
was
that this guy's
logical selection. Spock would have been
Yeah.
proud of that. Extremely
yeah,
logical.
Completely logical. Naomi, she has to stay awake.
Yeah, if
And
yeah,
something goes
Amos,
wrong with the whole thing, she can fix it. So
yeah.
her
yeah.
value is clearly stated. Amos can lift this guy. This guy cannot lift him. Done. Logic done. Dude, you go
And
under.
this guy also his defense was also good. He's an author. He consumes more
Yeah.
Oh
oxygen.
yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
one
yeah,
too.
yeah. That was
Yeah,
a good bit overruled. No use.
But
yeah,
no point arguing with another. If we have something, we
Yeah, yeah.
have the gift of the gab.
yeah,
But it's also quite funny that ultimately the person who went under sedation was the guy who had to get them out of there while
Oh
still
yeah.
being under the effects of the sedation.
yeah.
Ironic.
It was.
Yeah.
The other two turned out to be slightly dead weight when it came to.
Well, they didn't
Yeah,
know it at the time that they would
they
get
did.
hold of a
But he
ship and
did
they would
carry
be
him. He did
swept away.
fulfill.
He
Amos
did, he
did
did,
carry him. Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Correct.
Holden
Oh,
is the
Amos,
one who
no
really
way.
woke him up.
Alex would never have been able to lift him.
Yeah, oh
No.
no way. Definitely not.
Uh,
Yeah.
Uh,
yes.
That was a good scene though. I enjoyed it.
Yes. And speaking of new characters, now
Yeah.
Johnson, Fred Johnson. our new
Oh yeah,
strong character is there.
Before we go there, Lopez
yeah.
mentioned something about Phoebe, like a distraction on Phoebe.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh
want
yes,
to discuss that
Before we
also.
had abandoned the
Okay,
Donager
Fred
scenes
Johnson, we'll
completely.
correct.
We'll
revisit it.
wait. We'll wait.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
the Phoebe story. So this has come. This is the fourth or fifth time that they're mentioning it, and I agree with Holden this time that come on, what happened at Phoebe? Let me know.
yeah.
I'm
Let me
dying
know.
to
Nobody know.
know
Nobody
what
knows
the heck
what's
happened.
happening on Phoebe. Why are you mentioning Phoebe?
The
Yeah.
last time I heard a Phoebe was when I was watching Friends. Okay, bad one.
That's a long time ago.
That's a
Yeah.
really long time ago. Hmm.
Yeah,
So
so there
yeah,
were. I think Holden spoke for all of us. The exasperation,
yes.
the
Yeah, about
demand. Just
Phoebe.
tell us
Yeah.
what's. Yeah, just tell us what's going on. Why do you keep cryptically mentioning this place?
It's, I think it was a huge event for the Martians, but
Yeah,
I think it was kept under wraps that nobody else except the Martian knew about it. So
correct.
to me, it is stupid that they're interrogating some. Oh, maybe they thought Canterbury visited there and did something. Huh? Is
That
that
was
why
the
they keep
assumption, I think,
asking
wasn't
this?
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
Something like that.
yeah. There
And
was
they are
the
also
assumption that
assuming
way.
that the ships are OPA, right? Who are coming.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They're
Hmm.
really out to get the OPA because they seem to be the scapegoat for everything, and they're not helping
Yeah.
matters by being very unlikable.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And Phoebe is a moon of Saturn, correct?
Yep.
It must be. I don't know. So, and Canterbury does lots of trips to Saturn and back. So,
Yeah.
the guess is that they
Yeah.
would have stopped at Phoebe and something would have happened. Maybe because they're in the middle of so many things, there's
Yeah.
a high probability that these guys went and did something in Phoebe. And probably that's why
Correct.
it came up.
But what happened on Phoebe is actually very, very devious and elaborate. So it doesn't make sense that the Canterbury would have done it. It seems too advanced, so to
Hmm.
speak,
Hmm.
to expect.
Canterbury was
Yeah.
just, as we described, a rubble garbage
Yeah,
ship.
Ice
it was
trawler, as they call it.
the
Yeah.
ice trawler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
But
ice.
in this first four episodes, I think we've seen an a rubble ship like that, patchy thing put together, exploding. We saw that, and then we saw the state-of-the-art machine also exploding, the Donager. So
Yes, yes. More
there was,
brilliantly though.
yeah, more
Canterbury's explosion
Yeah.
brilliantly.
wasn't so
I
spectacular.
mean, that was a broken down ship, so less of an explosion. The other one was state-of-the-art,
All they had to do
no
is pull that
fireworks.
pin. That
Yeah,
was it. No nuking
that was
required.
it.
That was just overkill.
It
Yeah.
was overkill.
It's
Yeah,
speaking of, for all
Mm.
the accuracy, they still can't escape the fact that they have to add sounds when they're firing in space.
Oh
Because
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
true.
I
That's
it
noticed that.
true.
it it would have been it would be very weird for us if there is no sound
Correct.
when there are
Correct.
guns
Yeah,
going off.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
noticed
yeah.
that. There's a
True,
lot
true,
of
true.
sound.
Very true.
Yeah,
Yeah, that I think the only science fiction movie that outer space one that I saw without sounds like this was Gravity, the Sandra
nah,
Bullock
Yeah.
one. I don't like her, so I didn't like the movie. Hence, I didn't like the movie. But
Yeah, I didn't like the movie in general. It gave me too
yeah,
much disorientation.
okay.
disorientation. Yeah,
And added to that was George Clooney, but I'm digressing. So anyway, so that's the only movie I think that showed it very accurately that there's no sound in space.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
cannot travel. And here we have PDCs going full gun, full blast.
The railguns going.
The rail
"Trrrr."
guns going
yeah.
to chew to give that extra effect.
Uh,
And the Donager explosion, all that had sound
We
effect.
heard all of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can understand. There were some scenes where they showed what the guns would sound when you're within the Donager. That
Hmm.
was
Yeah,
realistic.
that was as realistic. Yeah.
Yes, that was real. You can feel the impact, and
Hmm.
hear the sounds of these things being fired. That was
Hmm.
realistic. But then when you hear all the pew 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 sounds in deep space,
When your perspective is
yeah,
itself in space,
yes,
then
Ah,
it's
correct.
yeah.
right. No, Alex gets it because of the vibrations that he gets from the ship. So,
That is true.
that's what he gets. I guess he's been on a battleship or two that he
Yeah.
knows this. Although he claims that he's always been on a freight ship, maybe he's tagged along in one of those Navy boats. Who knows?
Yeah, but we as the audience, I guess we're floating in space and we can hear all the sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I guess, is it fair to say that Star Wars had all those sound effects, and hence somewhere where the audience is expecting that kind of a
Expecting.
sound effect?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Because all
But
just
in
that,
space,
general, if you see a
yeah,
something shooting in anywhere, you expect a
yeah,
sound.
yeah,
true. And I think, out there in space, it's a little beyond what the ordinary person can comprehend, even if you do have an imagination. So,
Yeah.
showing all of these guns firing and lasers firing without sound might have been a bit too disorienting. So, you need the sound so that you can at least parse what's happening
right, right,
in a
right.
way that is known to you and
Hmm.
not, you know,
Yeah.
because you are not out there and you only
Hmm.
know so much. So, you would expect the sound.
Hmm. Got it. Yeah. So I read the trivia about the railgun. Apparently, there is a plasma in it which makes it go even longer than a regular PDC. And
Mm.
PDC, so as opposed to the other ships in we've seen so far in other sci-fi series, it has an energy shield which none of these ships have. So to protect themselves, they have old style cannons, and they are apparently based out of our seafaring ships which have cannons in everywhere, right? It's
Yeah, yeah.
modeled on that. I think it's point distant cannon. That's what PDC stands for, if I'm not wrong.
Point defense cannons.
Point defense cannon. Okay,
Yes,
point defense cannon. And that
yes.
that comes from the seafaring days, apparently. That's
No, I like the veiled threat he gave.
Oh, now we
Fred
are on to
Johnson.
Fred Johnson. Back to him.
Yes,
Okay, yes.
yeah,
Yeah. First of all, I like this to show the size of the ship that
yeah,
they're building, the Tycho. They showed that, the full view, and then they showed this cantilever bridge, and in that they show a small module which is going, it's so tiny, like a ladybug going on that thing.
Yeah.
Then they show two people inside that. So it tells you what massive scale Tycho is really.
I
So
had a couple of takeaways from that scene. One is this religious group, they're going to try and spread the faith, whatever happens, even if it
promised
means,
land.
yeah, promised land,
Yeah.
they're going to do it. And that's not going to change, first off. And secondly, I had this feeling that this storyline was trying to get us to believe that the OPA is behind everything, just like everybody else is thinking. It's a
Hmm.
sort of red herring. And also, this guy, Fred Johnson, has affiliations to the OPA and he uses the OPA to threaten the missionaries. So it's also kind of a diversionary tactic, I felt like, because there's something else going on here, but everybody wants to blame the OPA.
No, and that's the general feeling, right? Anything goes wrong, you blame the person who was blamed before. OPA is already known in the inner planets as being disruptive and riot causing and all that. That image is established.
Yeah,
So, since Fred Johnson is associated with belters who might be in OPA, oh, he's also mixed up. So, you're
yeah.
sympathizer. So, we want you out
Just
of
like
this job.
Naomi.
Yeah,
But
just
he
like now.
doesn't detach himself from the accusation of
Correct.
being in the OPA, right? He
Right.
defends the OPA, in fact. He says ki
Yeah.
they are what? A religious organization or something like
He
Yeah,
does
something
mixed
connect it
with
to
that.
the
religious thing
religion.
didn't have a
Yeah.
strife. Organized
Yeah.
religion didn't have strifes, and it was
Yeah.
hinting at the fact that even his religion probably has it. So does mine. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Mine
could also
OPA.
be he's also throwing the OPA under the bus just to do whatever he wants to do and get updates on the Donager at the time.
Hmm.
Let everybody suspect this, and he will add to the mix by saying that he's going to have the OPA guys build a faulty ship for the missionaries so that it blows up
Hmm.
halfway.
What a stupid decision by that guy to inform this guy when he's with him
Yeah,
and in the middle of something that he controls.
yeah, I know. It's I'm convinced it was a tie he was wearing. It's probably too tight and he didn't get enough oxygen in his head. It was very stupid. It made no sense actually to tell him all of that.
It's
And
like
And
by the
even
end
firing
of
like,
that
someone.
trip,
yeah,
by the end of that little trip, is already said, okay, fine, you do whatever you want.
yeah,
Yeah, he comes back full circles, full 360 he makes.
Okay, you're back. You're head of
Yeah.
operations. That's the
That wasn't
dumbest
very smart. Yeah.
financier of a massive project I've ever seen.
That wasn't very clever, giving him all the information. He would have told him the names of who is in contention so that this guy Johnson can bump them off, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be in a, I don't know, boardroom where they bring them
Yeah.
in and have a discussion and say, okay, you're fired. We want the next guy. Hey, can you, by the way, can you help us guy get another guy? He stopped short of that.
Yeah.
He almost asked you, okay, if you're out, who will be in? Can you let us know? That'll be great. Yeah.
That's an interesting scene. It was very short. One thing I liked about this episode is Christine didn't get much screen time, so we didn't have
Yes.
to sit through her schemings.
Yes.
Yeah. Her grandson got frustrated with her, so he was our stand-in
Yeah.
in this episode.
You're not even coming inside to play a game, fun.
There are few series scenes
Yes.
where
Yes, there.
Miller is investigating, and we find out Havelock is still alive.
Yes, he is alive.
Oh my God, that
So
was a
that guy is
shocking
trying to
thing.
steal his phone. Was that what she was trying to do? Or money or whatever.
She was just rummaging through his pockets, I guess, just to see
Yeah.
what
To see
she'd get.
what he
Yeah.
has, what the dead
Yeah.
body has.
And then when he woke up, I'll get help. I'll get help. You're alive. I'll get help.
I was just checking your pulse. He quite clearly is a cop, so if he was alive,
Ah,
yeah,
yes.
Yes.
That
yeah,
must be it. That must be it. Correct. The star healing
Definitely.
stuff. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that whole series sequence was a bit unnerving. Uh, try we think that this is the guy who we already know that he is the one who helped what's her name, Julie, and
Julima.
Correct.
get aboard, I guess, the Scopuli.
Yeah.
But why does he do so? We don't know. And then we know
Yeah.
that he has this data encrypted somewhere in his body. Then they get to know he's the broker. Apparently, Miller has figured it out that he is a broker for something or
A data
somebody.
broker. Yes.
Uh,
Because he extracts the memory chip from inside his
Yeah.
body, right?
He
right.
does.
So he
Yeah.
has some government contracts or something embedded in
Yeah.
there.
She was reading out a lot of things that she found on that encrypted stuff, but still
Yeah.
sensitive
Yeah.
information.
So
Yeah.
apparently file names are not changed in encryption. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. It's still so old.
She was really frustrated with him, wasn't she, Octavia? She didn't know
Yeah.
how to
Yes.
handle him. His focus is just on Julie all the time. He lives Julie, he breathes Julie, he's always talking about Julie. There's nothing else on his mind. And also, do you think, when he went looking for this guy, Busy Bitiko, he assumed he was dead, but then he went into that den of guys watching that visual. He was not very discreet, I think. He just blew his cover. He let them know what he was looking for. And each time he does that,
No,
I yeah,
when he walked in, they assumed that he was a cop. They said, "Oh,
yeah,
nothing. We
Yeah,
will
yeah,
get
we're
time."
not
yeah, that's
betting, no money. This is just
no
for
money,
fun.
And
nothing.
when he
Yeah.
says, I'm not there for that," he then it turns
Yeah,
around and says, "Do you want to bet?"
Like, how much do you want to bet? Is he going to die? What do you want to bet on his dying?
he, I get a little nervous when he goes to all of these places and announces his intentions because I'm half expecting him to get either stabbed or shot all the time. Nothing has happened so far, but he
Yeah,
goes into the seediest, darkest, smelliest places and he's talking Julie. And I don't know, it's always in my head that somebody is going to, creep up on him from behind and just finish him off. He's lucky.
yeah,
I was once I took a flight from I think Phoenix to Chicago, and I was sitting right next to this lady, and she was asking me, "So where are you from, etc., etc." And I told her I'm in Phoenix for the last few years, and she asked me, "How do you like it?" I said, "I like it. It's this. It has access to so many tourist places, except the weather. Everything else is nice. People are nice." And then she stopped me and said, "People are nice, really?" And said, "Yeah." I said, "They're so nice to me, etc." And I went on. And then I asked her, "So how do you like Phoenix?" She said, "I hate Phoenix." I said, "Why?" Turns out she was a law enforcement officer, and she was always, then I realized she was always seeing the bad side of the
Oh,
yeah,
city.
yeah.
Right? She has to go to these seedy areas with seedy people and not so comfortable surroundings, and hence her hatred for the city. Right. So my
Yeah.
Yeah.
my guess is he has to do it. If he
Yeah.
can't, if he doesn't, who else is going to visit slingshot clubs? Wow, that was amazing though. Slingshot club.
Yeah. Now he did.
Now
That's
he
it.
did.
Should have bet.
Yeah, should
Should
have
have
bet.
placed a
Now
bet.
he did.
Yeah.
The thing with Miller is he actually doesn't have to do it. He was yanked from the case, but he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He it seems to be giving him some sort of purpose to continue, maybe even to live.
No, I
Yeah.
think he also knows that there is more
Something
than
going on.
meets the eye. All the news that is coming in has something to do with this Julie and her disappearance. He has figured that out. So he's trying to do that also, apart from his obvious obsession with Julie and anything Julie, right? So
Yeah, looking at her
he's
face,
always
thinking
carrying her
about that.
photo, her
Yeah, that's
phone.
what.
Yeah, so
I liked the fact that they can broadcast that photo to anywhere, to
that.
everywhere in proximity.
Yeah, yeah. And by just doing that swipe up and has it.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
like an Amber Alert. It
Yeah,
goes out to everyone's phones. Yeah.
everyone's
that's
phones
awesome.
and
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
cool
yeah, yeah.
feature.
The swipe up appears quite a bit actually because we also have it in the Donager. She just swipes up and things appear or disappear. It zooms in, zooms out. Everything is
Yeah, gesture
by that
based,
one
right? The whole
gesture.
thing. She does
Yeah.
the pinching and it goes
The
away.
one thing I hate about futuristic shows is how they show phones to be transparent. What use is
Oh
a
yeah.
transparent phone? It's such a stupid design. It's,
Yeah. You're going to see the floor underneath. What is the point?
what is the point? And people behind you can, like in front of you, can see everything that you're seeing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Correct.
actually, there were lots of road accidents in Singapore because people are busy looking at their phones even while crossing the road. So they were actually thinking of technology where you can see the road through the phone.
Oh dear.
Really? I mean, I
I
don't know.
blame
If
them
the
for this.
vehicle is from here, I don't know how that helps, but at least you
Yeah.
see what's up in front of you rather than just staring at your screen.
But
So,
the human mind also has the incredible capacity to block things out. So they will not see the ground.
anyway, they
It will
won't
just,
see it.
No,
they
You're right.
won't see
You're
it.
right.
Yeah.
Can give you the.
they'll just see the car that's going to hit them a second
Barely.
before it. Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah. Talking about Miller, it is his one fascination. I think, as Parvati said, it gives him a purpose to live almost, because he was just going around aimless. The investigation at least gave him some purpose, something to look forward to.
He's literally living with the ghost of Julie. He has created something in his head about her. And each time I think he looks at her photo, something about her comes to life in his mind, like a personality, or he
Yeah.
sympathizes with her even though he doesn't know her or he doesn't even know enough about her. But he
What's
still
the word you
assumes he does.
said, Parvati? The Welsh word?
Oh yeah, Hirai. Yeah,
I think Julie is his,
You're right.
the idea of Julie in
yeah,
his mind is his Hirai.
correct.
Hmm.
He's got this longing for her. She fills a void in him,
Yeah.
some sort of void. Something in his life is missing, and he has, used her as a sort of stopgap so that he can. He feels less alone. I think he's very lonely. He seems to be very
Hmm.
lonely.
Yeah.
Nobody takes 2 minutes to talk to him. Everybody just gets angry with him. So it's
A very
yeah,
functional depressive person.
correct. He is. Yes. Because if
Hmm.
you even look at Octavia, she doesn't last 2 minutes with him before she just blows her top and storms
I
out.
think there was something between them. Like
Correct.
Yes,
there
yes. There's
There
is,
some
was
history between the two of them.
between
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Because
But
if
she
he says, I don't want you protecting me, as if it's like a recurring phenomenon that he's always trying to
Yeah.
protect her.
I think he gets very intense with people, and that's probably what turns him off. As you can
Hmm.
see with Julie, and she doesn't want it. Octavia doesn't want any of that again. She just wants out.
Everyone hates that stupid hat too. Why are
Yeah.
you wearing that?
With the feather on it, I think. There's somebody who remarked about the feather on the cap.
Is there a feather on it?
Hat, yes, on the hat. Because they asked, where did
Oh.
you get the feather? And he says something about the bird or something like that. I don't know. There was some reference to it last time.
When it also they showed about the body of the fake busy Bitiko. Like,
Hmm.
can he be recycled? Can the body be
Oh,
recycled? That's
that was
Yeah, that
eerie.
guy, the
yeah,
Mog
Yes,
guy.
yes.
yeah.
Oh, they need some fertilizer down at level
Fertilizer over there.
23.
So can we? Yeah,
I thought of Dune again in this scene because in Dune they
yeah.
suck the
Oh,
water
yeah.
out again, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
So
yes.
water is
Ceres is
extracted
water
out.
deprived. So it's
Yeah,
like a
and
desert in space.
Yeah,
correct.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
It is. That was a very eerie scene. Also because that coroner was so blah about it. He didn't show much emotion. Did he? He was
Right,
just
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, we need
we need blood.
fertilizer. Can you
Yeah,
do
we
that
need
Yeah.
fast?
fertilizer.
We need to get rid of this guy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like that's a trope among detective corners that they are very casual
yeah.
around dead. They will eat around the dead. They'll eat. You can see them
Yes,
eating a
yes.
sandwich
You
around the
see it
dead.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody else will be gagging, but they're just very cool
And it's
about
like
it, talking
everyday
about
that
it.
it's their job.
Yeah, it is a
It's
job.
an
So
everyday
it,
thing.
it doesn't bother them. I mean, I got sick just looking at the congealed blood when Miller pierced that
Yeah.
body, and
I hope that
I
was a
can't sit through
dummy.
this. Yeah. I mean, if that's how he bleeds, we're going to have trouble.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, that scene was eerie. It was short.
hmm,
Like it was eerie. There were a lot of things they showed over there. First off, that this guy has a lot of implants and he's not who he says he is. Secondly, series is struggling so much that they're recycling dead bodies. All
right.
of it came through.
Yeah.
And apparently body mods are standard. I mean, like, oh, pancreatic pump, who doesn't have one of those? And then this is she's like every mod is like, oh yeah, of course that it had to have. There's an inner mic. Oh great, yeah, that's another standard feature. I bought one last from Blinkit last week.
She also mentions that they are expensive, doesn't she? So then that's another mystery over there. So this guy
Ah,
is not just some random thug. He's able
right.
to afford
Yeah.
expensive tech.
Yeah. So yeah, all the concepts I wanted to bring it all together. New ones are PDCs, railguns, slingshots, body mods,
Right.
ID spoofers, the self-destruct,
Oh
the
yeah,
key
code
that
zero.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
two people self-destruct one. Apparently, the trivia it says it's supposed to be a key that you turn around, but it eventually on screen you just see them put in their thumb impressions.
Two
yeah.
keys and then they put the thumb. Like it's
Thumb,
Thumb
is it?
impression.
Okay,
double.
Yeah,
okay. So
there was a
that
key.
is how it
Yeah.
went up. Okay. Yeah, that one was new for me. The ceiling stuff. So every room looks like has a sedative. It has a sealing apparatus. It has a gun to seal. Everything is standard, I think, for every room
Yeah.
in a spaceship.
I think
Um,
this episode worked extra well because of how many emotions were running through it.
yeah.
There was a lot of tension and suspense, and then the ship battles were great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And the Lopez is trying to interrogate this mole, and when he gets close, he's able to detect just like how he
Yeah,
did with the crew from Night. He was able to find out without the person uttering anything. I guess looking at
yeah,
the iris or whatever. But and he says, oh, then he goes, standard interrogation like, now you're going to start speaking, and he says, oh, get go to hell. He doesn't get anything out.
yeah. It's a
Busy
frustrating
Betico
scene.
apparently means live forever
Ah, live forever. Yes,
Ah,
I saw that
yeah.
in
on
Basque.
Wikipedia. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yes.
So he is
Basque is what
living
language? I couldn't quite get that.
Basque is a region in between Spain and France.
Oh, I thought it's
So they
in
have
series or something like that. When I saw it, I didn't know it was a real place. Okay.
that.
apparently slingshotting wasn't introduced until the third book.
Ah,
Ah,
that's
okay.
true. So that's one thing about the novel. It's pretty, there are a lot of details in the novel. It's over 500 pages. So there's a lot of detail. Naomi, in particular, has a lot more characterization in
Okay.
Leviathan Wakes. She's
Okay.
also a lot more human in that novel. And you
Hmm.
also get treated to things like Miller's horrible breakfast of pressed yeast and stuff like that. There's a lot of detail in the novels that haven't actually made it on screen. So even the Donager, the interactions there are a lot more drawn out in the book.
I'm
And the
sure. Yes.
So there are a lot more interactions with the Martians. I believe that the Martians don't threaten Holden right off the bat. It takes a little time to get there.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
it
can
takes a little
imagine. I
time to get
mean,
there.
this screen time, there's only 10 episodes that
Yeah,
they have in one season. They have to get to this logical point.
correct.
And it is funded, self-funded, as in there's
Yeah,
not a studio backing them at that
yeah.
point.
So it's
So they
a
had, I guess that's one of the reasons why we have all these panels as iPads, which are modified. They're all iPads, all of them. So you
yeah,
can see that. I mean, it's dressed up and it has some covering.
Wasn't sci-fi funding them? The
Yes,
channel
yeah.
sci-fi?
yeah.
That's a
They were.
studio,
They
is it? I thought it was more like a indie kind of a thing.
No, no.
Oh, it's one of the
were a
standard
studio.
studios, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
it,
okay.
it has funding for this kind of thing.
I, I
One
mean,
more
it is
thing.
grand, no doubt
Yeah.
about that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be watching it. It's not
Oh,
a
one more thing.
fan thing.
Yeah. The Donager actually took 3 weeks to get to the night in the book.
Oh,
Here, I think it got to the
few hours, three
shuttlecraft.
and a half hours,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
3 hours, I think.
So in the book, they
They
were
have
just,
3 hours of oxygen. He says, oh, they're cutting it close. So
correct.
I
Yeah.
would say
Yeah.
It was pretty
80,000 clicks.
ingenious, though, the way they handled that in the series. Because the book, after a while, you do get a little frustrated because things aren't happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks is. In fact, Christian says it'll take 2 days just to get to Donager to help
Yeah,
out the hostages.
correct.
And she says, I mean, I think the admiral says, "Oh, we can't do much. By 2 days
Yeah,
it'll be too late," and it was too late.
it was too late. I
Yeah.
think Captain Yao took the right decision over there by sending them out on that shuttlecrafts,
Hmm. Hmm.
on the Tachi.
Achi.
Yes.
So for last scene, Holden passes out and it goes fade out for us. We start seeing the credits, end credits.
Finally.
What did they do to because of the max burn? He passes out.
Right.
Right. Oh, the
Yeah.
admiral went
He
away.
does. He does.
Hmm.
Finally, we don't have to listen to him jabber for a while.
Uh, and yeah, Fred Johnson drops a hint, right? So we need to monitor what's happening in Donager. He says that.
He does.
He
Yeah.
drops a hint saying he's also interested in this.
In knowing what's happening over
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
He's up to no good. You get the impression that he's up to no good.
correct. And Lopez he hasn't set any coordinates. He just says, "Get the hell out of there." Just max burn.
Yeah.
That's it. No coordinates, no destination in mind.
He's also injured, I think, and probably disoriented by the
Yes.
time they get to the Tachi.
Yeah. He transfers control to everyone on board and probably passes out also.
Last episode we saw Anderson Dawes, right? It was this last
Oh,
episode.
yes. He
Yes,
was
we did.
introduced last episode. Yes.
Him and
Yes.
Fred Johnson almost occupy the same kind of space in my mind. Like they have certain control in series. Like they are heads of certain things.
Right. The only
Yes,
difference
yes.
being Fred Johnson is an earther, whereas I don't know if we know about
He's a
this.
belter, yeah. The
Yes.
Anderson
Whereas
Dawes is
Anderson
a
Dawes is
There's
a
the
belter.
belter, yeah.
I guess
belter,
by
yeah.
the accent, that's the discerning factor in this scene.
Mm,
The accent is
correct.
earther versus belter.
Yeah.
We
But
don't know
they
much
both
about
got
Fred.
but they both have some kind of shady dealings and a charisma, I think, that helps them get what
Yeah.
they want. They're
Hmm.
able to threaten people.
For
There was
equal.
one more trivia that came up that Christian studied social sciences in college.
Oh,
That the
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, she is a very good actress if you think about it, because
yeah, she is. She's
character is written to be annoying, and it is an
Iranian
annoying
origin,
character.
right?
Yes,
yeah.
correct. She is.
In the Penguin, she speaks Farsi.
Yeah.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah.
Shore Agdashlu. I don't know if I got the
Oh,
pronunciation.
CQB is an actual term,
Okay. Probably a
Yeah.
military term, huh?
military term. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
So
Yeah.
that's about it. So let's close for now with our standard remember the cant or else.
Or else.
Or else.